Hi, my name is Brian Soltis. I'm the technical evangelist at Kentico Software, and this video is going to detail an Azure Logic app which will automate content from Kentico Cloud into multiple languages. So the premise of this article is your Kentico Cloud project is configured to call this Logic app as a webhook, so it will receive a webhook notification every time content is changed inside of Kentico Cloud. So the first step is to set the schema of the input that's going to be coming from Kentico Cloud. So from the Kentico Cloud documentation, you can get a default schema that will allow you to paste it into this area. And what that will allow us to do is to look at the data coming from Kentico Cloud, the schema of that, and extract specific elements out of that data so that we can use them within our Azure Logic app. So in this case, because we supplied the schema, the operation, which is part of the Kentico Cloud webhook notification, it details the operation that was executed on the content item, whether that was published, unpublished, or archived. In this case, we're only going to check for a publish operation because the Kentico Cloud webhook notification happens every time content is changed, regardless of the action. This will ensure that our Logic app only executes if it is a publish action. So if the operation is equal to publish, then it will loop through each item. So again, because we supplied that schema, the Azure Logic app is able to see that there could be a collection of content items that have all been modified at one time. And this will loop through each of the items in the webhook notification so that you can have an individual process for each one. So for each item inside of there, we're going to call our process publish webhook function. This function is designed to retrieve the full details of the content item by passing in the code name of the item, again, retrieved via the schema of the inbound JSON packet. And this Azure function will get the full details, meaning all the elements of the content item, pass them to the Microsoft Translator API to get a translated version of that content, and then return a serialized object that contains the original content information as well as the translated content. So with that information being returned, we're going to do a quick status check. And what that means is the body of the process publish webhook function will be 200 regardless because of how it's coded. However, the body will either say success or failure. In this case, we only want to proceed if that was a successful execution of the Azure function. If it is successful, then we're going to send an approval email using Azure Logic App's built-in functionality using Outlook.com. And what's cool about this is this capability is already built into it to have approve or reject. So when a user receives this email, they will have an approve or reject button directly at the bottom of it. And when they interact with one of those buttons, the Azure Logic app can then interpret that response and then proceed as however you have it configured. In this case, I am using approve and reject. You actually could have more options if you wanted. And then I'm setting the subject. And the body, again, is the deserialized article model, which contains my original content for my Kentico Cloud content item, as well as the translated content that was retrieved using the Microsoft Translator API. If I attach that, it will add it as a text file within the email, but then I also can put in formatted text as the body of the email and also include the formatted text there as well. So this is a real nice way to supply your users with a lot of information in a fairly intuitive way. And again, because this is an approval email, the next thing we're going to do is look at the approval check of the selected option. If they have selected approve, then we are going to pass the body of the publish or the process publish webhook function, which is again that deserialized article model. We're going to pass that directly to our process translation function, which will then in turn create our Kentico Cloud translated content for that content item. If you want to know more about this, please check on the KenticoCloud.com blog, where you can find the full article with all of the code for both of the Azure functions, as well as screenshots of the entire process. Thank you.